All right, the question is, did you do awesome on your test? And some of you did great. Most of you did great. Go you. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find the distance between two ordered pairs. In Mr. Jones's class, what you did was you graphed those two ordered pairs. So if I plot the point -2 and 3, and I plot the point 4 and -6, what you would do is we want the distance of that line segment right there. So you guys made a lovely right triangle. You found this distance by doing the change in y. So our y is up here at 3, and it goes all the way down to 6. So 3 minus -6 is 9. So that's this distance here. Then you found this distance on this part of the triangle by the change in x. So we were at -2, and we went to 4. So that is -6, or 6. Okay? So what you guys did was you squared those numbers. Why would I want to square those numbers, you might say? It's a right triangle, Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to square the 9. We're going to square the 6. And you get 81 plus 36. So we add those two values together, and we get 117 maybe? And for Pythagorean theorem, we take the square root. So our distance is the square root of 117, which is around 10.82 units. So you say, I don't want to have to plot an ordered pair and another ordered pair, then make a triangle and do that. So let's recalculate what we did here. We found the change in y. We found the change in x. We squared that. We squared that. We added them together and unsquared. This right here is the distance formula. You need to memorize it. I'm not nice. I won't give it to you on the test. So let's use our formula that we came up with to solve this one. So the change in y. So here's a y value of 1. Here's a y value of 6. So 1 minus 6 is -5. The change in x. So our x is 0 and -5. So 0 minus -5 is 5. We add those together. But before we can add them, we need to find the squared. So -5 squared is 25. Positive. 5 squared is 25. Add those together. You get the square root of 50. If you want an exact, that is your exact answer, or your decimal is 7.07. Please memorize the distance formula. The next part, you guys found the midpoint between 2 points. When I think of midpoint, or the middle, I think of average. So I'm going to average my x's, and I'm going to average my y's. So if I average my x's, I have -2 and 4. So I'm going to add those two together, because when you find average, you add together and divide by how many there are. So there were two values. So -2 plus 4 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. So the average of my x's is 1. I'm going to average my y's. So 3 plus -6 over 2. So -3 over 2. So -1.5. Midpoint is an ordered pair. So I'm going to use the average of my x's, 1, and the average of my y's, -1.5. Please memorize how to do the midpoint. I won't give you the formula on the test. So let's try this one. 0 minus -5 over 2. So 5 over 2, or 2.5. The x's, 1 plus 6 over 2. So 7 over 2, or 3.5. Put it as an ordered pair, and you are done. All right. The next thing that we are going to do is look at a graph and state the x and y intercepts. Can you tell me the ordered pair when a graph crosses this axis? I hope so. Can you tell me the ordered pair when a graph crosses that axis? I hope so. I'm not going to go over that. All right. Can you graph y equals 3x plus 6? I hope so. If you can't, you better come see me. This is linear. Our y-intercept is 6, and our slope is 3. If you don't know how to graph that, come see me. Can you graph y equals x squared plus 4? That one might be a little bit harder, but since it has squared, you should realize it's a parabola, so a U shape. You should realize that the plus 4 moves your graph up 4 units, and you still have that same U shape. So, if you struggle with graphing, please come see me. I can help you. Alright, the next part says use a graphing utility. So, what I need you to do, if you don't have a graphing calculator, just take notes on how to use the graphing calculator. What we are going to do is we want to find where our x values, if we put them into this equation, would equal 0. So I'm going to enter this into my y1 equation, and I'm going to enter this into my y2 equation. And I'm going to use the intersection feature on my calculator to find where they intersect. So I'm going to go to the y1 key. So I hit y equals, and I'm going to type in x cubed minus 4x plus 2. Hit enter. For y2, I'm going to hit 0. I'm going to graph. My calculator, it looks like is set to the standard window. If yours is not, you might hit zoom, and then there's that standard number 6. So, here's our graph. You notice here is a curve, but where was our y2 one? Well, the y2 one is the x-axis, so that's why you can't see it. So if you look, it crosses the x-axis over here, right there, and right there, 3 times. So we're going to have to find 3 intersection points. So how to do that, you hit second, trace. You find the intersect of 5. It says first curve. You hit enter. Second curve, enter. Guess, it has it on 0, 0. Hit enter. And you get 0.539 for x. So, one of my solutions is 0.539. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to hit second, trace, intersect, first curve, enter, second curve, enter. But now it has my guess still around that same spot. So I'm going to move my cursor over to the right and see if I can get that right point of intersection. And it gives me 1.675. And you guessed it, you do the same thing for the next one. Second trace, intersect, hit enter, first curve, second curve, enter. Guess, we're going to move all the way over here to the left so that we can get closer to that guess. And we get negative 2.214. That's how you find points of intersection on a graphing calculator. So see if you can do this one on your own.